Friends, let's give it up for the Irving Street Ramblers. We'll be back in a few moments. Continue to enjoy your brunch. Seems like there's some food still out there, so a second helping would be in order for those who wish. But we are going to get started. We've got some ground to cover together today. Welcome to Parkway United Church of Christ, where through God's Spirit we seek to listen deeply, build community, and act for justice. Whoever you are, wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome here. I just started this sign-in booklets. If you feel so willing to share your name, and if we don't have your email address, that as well, so that we can stay connected in community with you beyond this service of worship. Welcome to Brunch Church. We try to do this about every 6 to 8 weeks, and so glad we were able to do it. We're grateful to those who have set up for us to be here. To that end, once you're finished eating, stack your plates together and one place on your table, and have one person bring your silverware and plates and such over to these basins here to avoid lots of different traffic during our worship service. We thank you for doing that. We are going to begin with our opening prayer. There should be printed bulletins on tables. I know some of you have them on your digital device. So join me in this opening prayer. We join together in this gathering of holy love to witness for one another your source of life, your courage in the struggle for justice and peace, your abiding grace as response to all our humanness, failure, and remorse. May we be touched by presence, know a possibility for healing, and be sent out renewed to do what is ours in the ways of love. Amen. The passage that I thought might work with our theme today of listening to one another, listening to one another's story, is from the Gospel of John, 21st chapter. This is post-resurrection, an encounter between Simon Peter and Jesus, verses 15 to 17 from the Common English Bible. When they finished eating, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" Simon replied, "Yeah, Lord, you know I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." Jesus asked a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Simon replied, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." Jesus said to him, "Take care of my sheep." And then Jesus asked a third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was sad that Jesus asked him a third time, "Do you love me?" And he replied, "Sovereign, boss, teacher, you know everything. You know I love you." Jesus said to Peter, "Feed my sheep." This is what the Spirit is saying to the churches. Thanks be to God. We're going to have the Ramblers come back up for what a friend we have in Jesus.
John Sandell, will you please report to the stage?
Thank you, Ramblers. Well, Jesus makes clear in the Gospel of John what post-resurrection living looks like. It's pretty practical. It's pretty body-centered. It's rather guttural, if you will. What living in a household of shalom, living love, really looks like. It looks like feeding. It looks like medical care for everybody. It looks like tending. It looks like mental health services. What does it look like, friends? What else does it look like? No more war. Equal rights. Community. Democracy. No dictatorship. What else? What else did I hear over here?
Clean air and water.
Clean air and water.
Making good friends with the homeless.
Making good friends and services with unhoused folk. Unconditional love. What was it? Universal basic income.
Caring for the dying.
Caring for the dying.
Stewardship of the earth.
Stewardship of the earth.
Visiting those in prison.
Visiting those who are in prisons and having a justice system that actually works to bring healing and hope, right? Dignity. Visiting with a friend. Sick friend, lonely friend. All of it, right?
Yeah.
Feed my lambs. Tend my sheep. Feed my sheep. So today, we are stepping into the waters of a campaign that's happening all summer from now through mid-September. 30 institutions all over this community are doing things just like this. This is part of the broad-based community organizing effort that we have launched in these last weeks. And so what's going to happen is we're going to gather stories. We are here and in other small group settings through the rest of the summer, just as all of these other institutions are. And then we're going to gather again. We hope you will be representatives at an assembly in September where we decide together what are the couple issues of our local community that we're going to research, have meetings, and take action on. We can kind of suspect what those are going to be. But what's important is that we hear one another's stories. So that's what we're doing. We're going to have 30 minutes at each of your tables to do that. There's a facilitator at each of the tables, and we're going to ask for one of you at each table to be a note taker, a scribe. We really need somebody to step forward to be a scribe, to write down a phrase, a sentence about each of these stories. We're here to tell our own stories, not a story of somebody maybe we encountered on Stratford Road last week or somebody across town. We're here to tell our story. We find common ground not by throwing out data, issues, opinions, but by telling our story. This is your chance. And we're going to have each of you take 3 minutes. Be mindful of that so that everybody around the table has an opportunity. Nobody's going to be forced to share a story, but we want to make room for everybody to share a story. And the story should be focused on where you feel a sense of pressure in your life or your loved ones. Where are you having a difficult time because of local issues right now? Or where are your dreams for full life being hedged because of local things going on? In something that really matters to you and your loved ones. And we're not only looking for stories, we are on the lookout for leaders, people who are so motivated out of that pressure and have the energy and the time and the commitment to gather others like them, like their concern, and do something about it. So we'll be keeping notes of somebody's willingness to maybe make a commitment to one of these campaigns. Once again, if you had a chance to speak for a little while, step back so somebody else has a chance. There's a facilitator at each table, like I said, who's going to get you started. And they're going to start by asking for somebody to take some notes. And we are going to regather for the close of our service at 12 o'clock noon. Everybody okay? We all good? Your facilitator will help you figure that out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I switch from the device in there to my laptop. Good to see you, Peggy and Peggy.
Good morning. Good morning, Becky.
Susan and Dolores. So we're gonna spend some time together, and we've got more time for our stories because we're fewer in number as a group. But I will be the one who tries to take some notes here. Let me get my grid. I had a chance to share a couple of weeks ago when we were doing the launch to this listening campaign, something that had a big impact on my life, my family's life the last 2 years. And that was when Cindy was still working at elementary school in our Winston-Salem Forsyth County School District. And she was asked to do a lot more. And then they eliminated all of the teachers' assistants for school media specialists. And there was a sense in the school that everybody was getting overwhelmed. There was less a sense of camaraderie and teamwork and community because everybody was just trying to get things done. And that just really became entirely overwhelming to her. And she could no longer do that job and could not work really for a good while. And we then spent a lot of time just getting mental health support. So one of my issues really is sufficient staff support to do what our school district is set out to do in supporting all students. And I think the teachers' assistants are critical. There's been a lot of money spent on technology, but not enough money spent on school personnel.
So support of school personnel, particularly teachers' assistants who can support all students, would be something that I hope that we might be able to work on. Somebody else willing to share?
I have something that there's two things I've been concerned about and want to be involved in or active in. One I am active in, which is the mental health advocacy role that our church is doing through WISE. And so I feel good about the fact that we have that avenue. The other thing that I've been interested in for a long time and seems overwhelming and hard to know where to start. And that has to do with the homeless people. And I know that there are efforts in this community to respond to that need at certain times of the year when it seems to be the most need because of the cold and so forth and so on. But I see a lot of the homeless areas where people stay or sleep near places where they can get to the bathroom easily, or they can form a community, not real big, but enough to be able to have others around them. And I want the tools to be able to somehow be part of the group of voices who need to be heard and who can do something that will make a difference. I know that young couples who want to have a house, I know one in particular, this young couple is expecting a baby now, and they can't find affordable housing to move out of an apartment that will not be sufficient for them when that baby comes. They can't seem to find affordable housing. This is no new news to anybody. It's just that I know what is happening in this community, and that's what I'd like to see happen, at least for my involvement. I have been involved in IAF, and I've recently backed out of that for just hopefully temporarily, but I hope through that avenue, maybe, and as we coalesce with others in the community, that churches especially, that are coalescing, that we will have a big voice in that.
Thanks, Peggy. Is there anything of either of those issues that you've mentioned that have really impinged on your family or those close to you that is really kind of a source of this motivation?
The mental health piece has been, I guess I would say that would have been and is the number one piece that's the motivation. When I have been dealing with that issue for a long time, finally accepting the fact that there were some things I could do about that. But when I became really sick in this year, actually, in January and February, and I couldn't get, I could get in touch with the two people that I needed who were my professional helpers. I could do that, but there were times when I was not able to do that. And I know other people who've had real concerns with their children or even with themselves trying to get access to mental health um, professionals or people who could help. That is the most scary thing. Um, and and having gone through what I went through in January and February, uh, was a real learning experience for me because it was very scary. And I I want to be able to be an effective helper or befriender with others who might be going through the same thing or who are dealing with issues that make them feel afraid to be with other people. So that's that piece. And my daughter had a new job for 2.5 years in the Chapel Hill area where she was in charge of a section of of the housing department for Orange County. And she gave me a real kind of a sense of affirmation about my concern around housing issues. She had to learn about the housing issues in Orange County to be able to do this job, and she supervised about 7 or 8 other people that were social workers like her. And it was real sobering to listen to the stories that she was telling me about what her co-workers were working with in terms of people who were just desperate for housing. And it just affirmed that my concern about that was on target. And she is now on a different job. It only took her 2.5 years to get burned out of that job and for money to dry up. And that whole area that she was supervising is no longer in existence. And she went to public health. But the issue about money to support staff in schools, that has to be an issue not only with schools, but in places like where my daughter was working for a county that just didn't have the money to be able to continue with the kind of work that she had been hired to do. So those are 2 examples that I can give.
Thank you. Well, I think if I want to just check out what I think I'm hearing, Peggy, is that through our Parkway Wise team, you would invest energy and leadership into a campaign around access to mental health services, and perhaps also peer accompaniment to people as they're trying to seek those services.
Yeah.
I think those were the 2 things that you specifically mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks. The other Peggy T.
I can't think of anything to contribute right now.
Okay. Nothing in particular you're seeing in the neighborhood or the city that has been challenging for you or your family members?
No.
Okay. I'm glad you're here. Anybody else? Well, since we have a few minutes, I think,
Can I just say one extra thing? I won't
okay.
take too long. A very personal issue for me is my daughter who lives in Burlington. I have 2, one in Hillsborough, well, rather three in Burlington and Charlotte. But my daughter in Hillsborough became disabled when she was injured on the job about 20 years ago, and is unable to work full time. And she is looking for housing in Burlington. And it's going to be, she will be, for the first time, if this is successful, she will be living alone, except for having her dog with her. And so it's going to be a real challenge. And that's a very personal issue around housing in my family.
So the issue is people living as independently as they can, but getting the support services to make that possible.
That's right. Correct.
Yeah, I know that some folks from a disability rights group risked arrest at the Department of Social Services in Raleigh the other day.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Around that precise issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. Anything else that's come up in anybody else's mind and heart? Well, since we've got a few minutes left and I don't really usually have this opportunity, I'm interested in your experience of worship on Zoom lately. What are you noticing? What are you wishing?
I have been here and not here, so I don't have a whole lot to contribute to that either. I didn't have any trouble getting on today, for instance. Everything went well.
I'm glad you were able to get it. Hopefully people didn't have problems. Sometimes when we do something outside of the sanctuary, I will create a new link because it's so much easier to do, but we kept the same link and went back
And you walk down the hall.
to make this computer host once we were in. So I think we'll try that again in the future.
Yeah.
So you haven't been able to experience worship from Zoom much lately, Peggy?
I have not availed myself of it.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I went to church in person once.
I saw you, yeah.
I might do it again. If I can get up and get organized enough.
Yeah, yeah. How about Heather and Dolores or Peggy? Any observations or things that we could pay attention to?
I'll let Dolores go because I've done a lot of talking if she wants to. Not seeing any. Well, maybe while she's thinking about it, I'll go. I'll give some feedback. Othello made me go to church last Sunday. She kind of showed up. She let me know she was coming, but her son didn't know that she was going to be coming with him. I thought it had all been planned, and it was a done deal. Little did I know, and how could I have missed? This was Othello's way of planning, but she wanted to go to church last Sunday, and I said, well, I usually go on Zoom. She said, well, I need to go in person because I haven't seen anybody in a long time. And I said, okay, I can make you get you there and we can do that. That won't be a problem. It was such a nice change for me because I have been dependent on attending worship via Zoom, and that has made it real easy for me because the reason that it is preferable is because that's the only time that my husband and I eat together, eat breakfast together during the week. Plus, he fixes it, and that's that's just been real important. Sometimes, if it's early enough, I could come, but he likes to sleep late, so I join through Zoom, and I have found that to be really inspiring for me. I, I like worshiping through Zoom. There are times when I feel like I really don't want to be in a crowd, and this helps me really focus. I mean, I really feel more focused. I can hear well, even though I have hearing aids now that help a lot. But I like worshiping through Zoom. I like being able to look up and see who's there, and I haven't seen Peggy in a long time.
No.
So yeah, you're right, Peggy. I've been missing you. And so it's been real nice to
Yeah.
to see and how things are going and in general, and to watch the number of people increase. I've seen that. That's encouraging. And when I was there last Sunday, I met the new director of music, or Sterling. I mean, he's not new necessarily, and I've met him before, but I met the pianist, and he was supposed to send me an email about when I could come and practice with them, but I haven't heard from him, so I need to get in touch with him about that. But I was so impressed with the music last Sunday, and the energy that was there in that small group of singers, and I loved the music. I like different kinds of music, and I'm a musician, have been, was a church organist and a choir director and all that. So I love different music offerings, and I'm really pleased with the way the service has become structured and is thoughtful, and I like it's very thoughtful to look at the prayers, the opening prayers, and anything that's written that has to do with the lyrics, all of it. I'm really liking all of it. And I love change anyway, so I'm a weird person in that way. You know, some people like for you to like for things to be the same because I can count on it. It's not going to change and blah, blah. I love it. I love change. I love experimenting with different forms of worship. And last Sunday, I felt like I wanted to dance to the music. And I've done that one time in an ordination when Liam was ordained. But I didn't have the nerve to get out there and just do my liturgical and extemporaneous dance. But I felt like
should have done it.
I might do it one of these days. I love to dance.
Peggy, you probably couldn't, clearly you couldn't see it because it was behind the camera, but we had two people dancing this morning to What a Friend We Have in Jesus.
Oh, really? Oh, that's wonderful. Where were they? In the back or in the front?
They were in the front.
Oh, what bravery.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this somebody we would know?
Well, one person you can count on when Elizabeth is with us. Elizabeth's going to move. Elizabeth's Angela's family um, connection.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I think she did. When did I see that child? I've seen her do that before. Isn't she little?
Yeah, and
Little
she
girl?
was going around finding looking for an adult who would dance with her, and so she
Oh,
found
wow. I hope I'm there next time she's there because I would join her in a millisecond.
that's great. That's excellent. Anything that's come to your mind, Peggy?
No,
Peggy, have you been able to join the contemplative prayer group lately?
most times I slept right through it this week. I came in from doing my yard work, my evening yard work, and I lay down and I woke up after the contemplative prayer was over. So I missed
Your
it.
body's needs trumped everything else.
Yeah.
So that's still a good connection for you?
It is. 2 or 3 of us show up.
Yeah. And I suppose it's a better time of the day, many days.
Yeah, that would be. We can meditate.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
We can meditate.
Well, the last thing I want to do before we break up
Okay.
is if you were to have 5 votes distributed in any way you want. So I heard disability, housing and support, um, homelessness, support for people unhoused, um, affordable housing, especially for growing young families, um, sufficient county social services, personnel support,
Yeah.
And mental health services. So how would you distribute your 5 votes among those issues?
You mean in terms of
Put them all, you could spread them out, you could put them all in one, or however you wanted to do it.
a lot of the activities needed in both of these overlap. I mean, I'd be doing some of the same things for mental health that I would be doing for housing, in terms of behavior, in terms of what I would actually do. So it might, I don't know which one to prioritize. It seems I would like to see if there are other reports that come from folks in the fellowship hall, if there are other reports that also match mine and kind of see what their 5 priorities might be or how they would integrate with each other. Because I have to say, mental health and housing both are very similar in terms of if you don't have a house, you can't even pay attention to your mental health.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we understand that many of these are interlocking, but with your 5 votes, what would you say? I mean, if you're pressed to make a decision.
oh, okay. I think, gosh, that's hard.
It looks like Peggy, you might be ready.
Number 1 would be affordable housing.
So
That's
how many votes would you give affordable housing?
3.
Okay. What else?
I haven't decided on the other two yet.
Okay.
I think, thank you for doing that, Peggy. It helped me. I think I'd give affordable housing 1.
Okay.
Well, I guess maybe my other two would go to mental health.
Okay.
Um, I would agree with that as well.
So you would give 2 votes for mental health, and you've got you've got 2 votes left, Peggy Matthews.
Okay. I see. So we're talking about support. I'm sorry. What affordable housing, mental health, and support, and
Disability
oh yeah, disability.
support and support for personnel in the county.
Gosh, ooh. I would do 3 for disability. Can I put 3 on disability?
I'm going to give you 2 because I think you have
2.
2 left.
Oh, okay. Okay. 2. And personnel.
Okay. Well, thank you for this conversation. Glad you were able to be a part of it. We're moving
Well, thank
back
you
into the
for
fellowship hall
facilitating.
here.
Thank you for being our
Okay.
facilitator.
I invite your conversations to wrap up at your table. Take a moment if you've not voted to do that. We're waiting on a couple of other tables. You're good? Are you doing it? All right. How you feeling? So I just heard discouraged with all the issues. So we often live in discouragement because we have a lack of imagination many times. I'm speaking personally of what we can do about stuff. And so what this initiative is about is coming together, getting 500, 750, 1,000 people in the room with those who can make decisions to impact the things that we really care about and get commitments from them because of the number of people who have all said together, this is important. we've got to do something here. So I certainly appreciate the sense of discouragement right now, and I hope we can lean into the sense of collective power and hope and possibility that is built into this process. So just a couple of celebrations and prayer concerns. First, we celebrate that you're here, that you continue to engage in being in community with one another. We celebrate that we're moving into the third week of the Freedom School. As you can see, the marks of that all around. I'm aware of a few prayer concerns. Kay, as she fully recovers, is moving tomorrow. So we hold that in our hearts. Mary Madry is doing so much better. After her surgery, she feels a lot better. We continue to hold Joey's family in prayer as his brother has been diagnosed with cancer. Barb's family, as Barb's mom in Illinois is moving into assisted living. Carol M., some of you know Carol's been coming to worship for some time. He's got major back issues. Ann M. in Thomasville said this week, I appreciate the prayers of the Parkway community, and I hope that they can continue. We're delighted to have Bill D. with us today, and ongoing prayers with Bill and Deborah and Jeremy and their family. Bev G., as Bev continues her treatment. All of those who are facing mental health challenges or feeling lonely or waiting for some kind of medical diagnosis. Those who have been so impacted by the heat. Those who don't have sufficient ways to cool. Those who have to work outside. So we hold all of those things in our hearts. Next Sunday, July 7th, back to 11 o'clock in the sanctuary, is Voter Engagement Sunday. We will be providing you information on the timeline, when you need to apply for an absentee ballot, what are the details around voter ID in North Carolina right now. But we're also going to give you a commitment form in the bulletin, and we're going to encourage you to commit to the one or two or three things that you can do to engage others in this election this fall. And so that is our theme next Sunday. And then right after worship, we'll have community time, probably out in the narthex and spill out outside, weather providing. We have a offering plate just outside these doors. Certainly, we've got a way to click on our website, and you can mail a check if you would wish to give a financial offering to the life and ministry of this congregation. We're always grateful for your support, not only your financial support, but your presence and your prayers, your engagement with so many different things.
Next Sunday, are they going to also do registration, or where do you register for voters?
We've got voter registration cards right now, and so we can walk you through that. We'll talk some more about that next week.
Next Sunday, you can do that.
We'll have, Jim, those will be available next Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are moving, yes.
I just want to say that the people who facilitated at your tables today are part of the core team from Parkway.
So come and use the mic.
What's that? Oh, sorry. The people who facilitated the conversation today are part of the core team that is representing Parkway to the IAF organizing effort. And if you want to be a part of that, let us know. And I just want to remind those who can stay, let's meet back in that room and sort of check in about the forms that we filled out and make sure we're in good shape on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to all our facilitators and all of our scribes today. We're going to call the Irving Street Ramblers up for closing us out for our service. Those of you who are capable physically to help us with cleanup and resetting this space for tomorrow morning's Freedom School, we would be delighted to have your help. Amen. Come and listen in to the radio station where the mighty hosts of heaven sing. Radio on, radio on, radio on. You can hear the song flying come from the land and the spring. Touch God can touch you. Radio on, listen to now. Radio on, and listen to music in the air. Turn the radio on, and you'll share. Song of the Father, of the many ones.